Passing out the medicines. We've been on that rock star regimen, knowing that I'm heaven sent, higher than I ever been. I got a problem with.
What's going on? This is Totally Blitzed podcast. I'm Paul Pick'em when I'm concert. And as always, I'm joined by the one and only.
I learned the game from the best. I'm trying to go inside a step. I ain't going to school.
I got this knowledge from the thugs. Come on, man. See, look, bro, I love playing bad teams because it feels so good when you bust their ass. It still feels the exact same. But hey, man, shout out. Hey, shout out anybody that won and fuck anybody that lost, losing. And motherfucking, it's been a good week for me. But you know, it's your boy Lil K, aka the Dom QIE, aka Kev Waterboy's your boy, aka the nigga whose team beat the Lions this week. Because that's what you got to do when you play Detroit.
It's showing the people how it's done. Because there's been two teams this year that didn't know how to get it done.
Hey, man, we don't want to get started on the yellow team that couldn't get it done because them boys is upset. I heard over there in Pittsburgh, but that's just what I heard. I ain't never been over there, but boy, I heard them boys is upset right now.
Like shit, rightfully so. I'd be upset if I had Big Ben as my quarterback. But nah, good win from the Falcons. Sorry, but how was your Christmas? Because a lot of shit happened over the weekend. People forget we had football on Christmas Day. How was your Christmas Day?
My shit was a vibe. I was chilling, watching the games all day, smoking, drinking, and getting right off of this. Wait for it.
In the brown bag.
Evan Williams. Hey, bro, this shit cost like $8 at the liquor store. I literally put down everything I had in my hand to get this shit.
Right.
Whatever I got, I was gonna mix with the eggnog I had at the house. So I was like, why don't you just get the drunk eggnog already? It's only $8.
Mix. Save the time.
You can't beat it, man.
Save the bottles.
I'm telling you. And then I got my world's best boss mug. I'm not gonna tell you got me this.
That's nice.
It was myself.
The best worker and best boss.
I'm telling you, man. We fuck with each other. But hey, cheers up, man. Merry Christmas, motherfuckers.
Merry Christmas. Merry belated Christmas to everyone else. My Christmas was pretty good outside of the fact I had COVID, so I couldn't leave the house. And so we just had our own little celebration here. I'm going to celebrate a second Christmas whenever I'm finally like clear from the protocols and all that. And I'm going to go see my
clear the protocols.
Talking with my trainer, seeing what's going to happen. But no, Christmas was a great time, except for a couple teams that lost Christmas Day. Let's start it up with we had the Packers beating the Browns in Lambeau after Baker throws 4 interceptions, including the game-sealing interception. That boy who's been so nasty over there for the Packers, Rasul Douglas, who is named a Pro Bowl alternate, even though he's only played like 5 weeks. So shout out to him.
Hey man, that's what you do, cause that's hurtful. Fuck the Pro Bowl, but
Yeah.
Hey, but that boy's been balling though. But hey, man, I can't relate. I got both my picks right on the for Christmas. You feel me? And that boy, I don't know what you want to start off with. We could start off with Russell Douglas, but let's really start off with Baker motherfucking Mayfield, Santa's little helper. That's what I called him on the Totally Blitz page. Follow us at @Totally_Blitz. But motherfucking, he was just giving that thing away. The Browns played a great game. Nick Chubb, 126 yards.
On 17 carries.
17 carries, a touchdown. There weren't too many answers for that boy. They played a good game, motherfucking. But you can't do nothing against Aaron Rodgers and the boys. Aaron Rodgers broke the record. Cool. Did that. He broke the record to have the most touchdowns versus a Packer. And then he did it with Devontae Adams, the 4-4-4, the 4-4-4 throw. Motherfucking.
Boy.
And that's what they did. But like after that, he got those 2 touchdowns, and then he got one more touchdown after that. After that, the defense, the Browns defense kind of got some key stops, and critical stops, and put the Browns offense in position to make plays to win. But like that boy is giving up to a ball. Like those 3 first half interceptions, it's tough to wipe them away if you throw another one in the last drive.
Yeah, it's one of those situations because you're down by 2, you already threw 3 interceptions. So the game is still only like right there. if Baker makes that drive and they win the game, maybe we're talking a little different. We're still talking about the 3 interceptions, but you're only as good as you leave off as. And he left off with the pick that sealed the game. I know that left a sour taste, and I heard someone make a good point because I guess the GM and them really do like Baker, and they want Baker to be the guy and all that. But they do have some money come this offseason, and no matter how much you want Baker to be the guy, you'll be doing the rest of this team more harm if you're not trying to at least look at who wants to come to Cleveland. Like, who can we get? Is this going to be better for our team? Like, stuff like that. Because they have the pieces. Like you said, their defense kind of held them with Baker throwing away 4 picks. This defense still held Green Bay to 24, one of the most prolific offenses. And then if you look at it, like there's just so many things where you can point it at Baker because it's not the run game. They put up 220 yards on 25 carries as a team, which is just absolutely like that's perfect running from a stat standpoint. But 4 picks, my man. I hate Baker as much as every guy that dislikes him, but you're just yeah, that's just bad. Like, man, I don't know how he's the starter come next year if they are able to get someone better. With a lot of these vets in the free market, where he's looking, they might be able to get someone that's better than Baker.
Hey, man, I can't say nothing. Lamar threw 4 picks, and I still start that boy. But I seen a tweet that said Baker Mayfield's just a sober Johnny Manziel, and I was just like, huh, interesting.
He might. That was a great take. I'm not gonna lie. Johnny Manziel didn't have the run game. He didn't have Nick Chubb behind him.
But I don't know. Baker Mayfield, he just does have to get paid a lot of money next year, and like they like the boys. They just got to figure out. They got to figure out what can you put around them to win because you put good receivers, a good run back, and great O-line with a strong defense, and like that's still not enough. And Odell isn't. We learned Odell wasn't the issue. So like, I don't know. It's up to your investment. It comes to your investment group. Like, are you gonna invest in the future of him? And if you do, because he does have some good tactics. He does have some good end, like his play action, handoff, on point. But yeah, I'm not trusting my team with his hands. But that's just me.
You know, it would be something crazy to see what comes with this next offseason in Cleveland because they're one of the teams that people think is going to make some type of big move, but we'll see. That's all hearsay. On the other side, Packers, like I said, they played a good game. You wish they probably could have put up more points, but that defense from the Browns, they're not no slouches. They kind of tying up. Myles Garrett, I think he's number 3 in PFF when it comes to like pass rush win rate and stuff like that, right behind Aaron Donald and Micah Parsons. So like they got Denzel Ward played a decent game. I mean, outside of there's only so much you can do about Devontae Adams. So
2 touchdowns. There's not a lot.
Yeah. So, but the Packers they're still looking like an NFC favorite. Aaron Rodgers still looking like an MVP candidate. This is a good win by them. The next game on this list, I should have known. But everything was pointing towards the Cardinals' direction when Darius Leonard was out with COVID. They had a few players out with COVID as the game was starting. But Colts get the job done on Christmas. They beat the Cardinals. Jonathan Taylor did good. Carson Wentz did pretty good. He had a couple big drives.
Hold on, let me take a sip on this one. Nah, this was a good-ass game, man. This game was lit. It was a banger, definitely. I think the Cardinals could have won, and they probably should have won if they could have made those field goals and got those conversions late. But like, I need people to chill on the Cardinals, though. I understand they lost. They lost last week, and I don't know if they lost the week before that, but they might have. The way they've been trending.
I think they have. I could be, but if not, it's still 1-2.
But Buda Baker, the Cardinals is still straight. The Cardinals is still 5. Buda Baker, Ian, that boy was all over the motherfucking field, getting in the backfield, getting sacks, getting tackles for losses. He was doing his thing. I'm like, bro, ain't you a safety? She's supposed to. What you doing? You in the wrong area code right now. Don't give a fuck. Keep pulling up, motherfucking Kyler Murray. Just chill. Even though even though he lost, he got like I just throw the loss out there. The Bird still had a decent throw percentage. But I didn't write his stats down, but he still fired. Bro broke for like 54 yards at one point and kept. Then they tied that bitch right back up. So just chill. And they got threats at receiver all over the place. So let's chill. Let's stop talking like if the Cardinals. Let's let the Cardinals figure something out. Hey, if they lose the first round of the playoffs, they lose the first round of the playoffs. But like, let's not pretend like this team is not the truth. That's how I look at it first off. And the coach is just them boys, because like, yeah, you missing damn near your whole O-line. And they're your best player on defense. And y'all boys not only kept this game close, but y'all continue to play how y'all play. Because like, it's not like they changed all the entire offense. No, they gave JT the ball. JT was slow too. Like he got a 41-yard run to off rip, and the Cardinals said, "Okay, we can't have this all game." Bro got like what 27 rushes for like 101 yards, or like that's a lot. That's four. I think it was 4 yards a carry, some shit like that. Like he got slowed down a little bit, but they kept going. They kept thumping. He was getting first downs and shit like that. They didn't run away from the run, and then crash off like Wentz crashed. Like he had a couple of runs. They got taken away, but he's over here running for first downs. And that boy had what 225 for 2 touchdowns, 0 picks, crashed for first downs. Like Carson on what sides? The coach showed that they're a true team. They're a true beast in the AFC. Like you don't want to fuck with the Colts right now, especially at home.
Yeah,
that's my takeaways from the game.
There's one statistic that popped out to me was Coach Cliff Kingsbury. One of the big reasons why I wasn't too confident in the Cardinals. He's had a losing season for the second half of even back in college. He's never had a positive winning on the second half of seasons. Like last year, they started off before their bye. They were like 6-1 or 5-2 or something like that. Very solid numbers. And then the second half is when they kind of started losing a lot of games, which were going down to the wire, which earlier they're kind of flawless. Same back with his Texas Tech days, going 4-0 and then going 1-6 to end out the season. So it's just like, it might not be the Cardinals. Like maybe this coaching can't make some changes. Like you said, they need to settle down, find themselves, figure out what they need to change, what they don't need to change, and go from there. But my biggest takeaway is this Kingsbury has never done any of that, has never done that throughout any of his seasons. Like hopefully he does do it this season because Kyler Murray is a star. But from a coaching standpoint, y'all started off hot, but what's going on now?
That's football. I forgot Aaron Rodgers did all that shit in that game with a limp. You can't forget that boy Lazard. Lazard had a mean-ass one-hand catch on the sideline.
Yeah. No, that was the one I think actually broke the record, was the Lazard catch.
Yeah, Lazard broke the record, but he had a one-hand. He probably had like 2 receptions, a touchdown, and then motherfucking a mean-ass one-hand on the sideline. Bro, I'm looking at a clip of Zach Wilson breaking for 50 yards. Right, that shit's insane.
No, but it was a good game. All in all, 22-16 is not like the car. It's different now. I see people saying that they're dead. I don't think they're dead. It's not like they lost like 40-10 or something. It's not like their defense didn't show up. It's like they just a good team. This is a team that I've said the Colts, I think, was the number 2 team in the AFC before the season started. And they're starting to play like it. They're starting to knock off some powerful, like some big squads in the NFC and AFC moving forward. They're playing their best football at the best time.
Bro, and at the end of the day, they missed 2 field goals. So, like, if they either instead of turning those field goals into points, actually make those field goals, the game is a lot closer when the Cardinals are coming down for that last drive.
Yeah. So, let's see. That wraps us up for Christmas.
Which is lit.
And then, let's see. You want to hit off the blowouts real quick? Because there was some big ones this week.
Let's get it.
All right, with the blowout block opening, I gotta bring this one up first because this was crazy. Cowboys put up 56 against Washington and only put up 14. Prescott and them boys all left at the third quarter, and the Cowboys were still scoring.
Bro, I was watching this game like, bro, they really might put up 60. I had to leave fourth quarter to go to Wendy's to get something to eat because like I was falling asleep.
Yeah, and a crazy stat. The Cowboys put up in this game alone more points than the Giants have put up in the whole month of December.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, no, that was a little stat nugget Twitter thing I saw, and I was like, wow. But, yeah, no, nothing much to really say other than the Cowboys beat the brakes off of Washington, shout out to the boys. Hopefully they keep that going moving forward. Second game on the list for the blowouts was the Bengals.
I will give that game though. Them boys really torched their ass. But like that was the rookies came through and did exactly what they're supposed to do with Trevon Diggs and Michael Parsons getting a sack in the interception. Like this is interesting. I think the Cowboys, every time I watch the Cowboys make like really crazy games like this, I look like this is low key the same team they're gonna have for the next couple of years, man. It's gonna be interesting.
Very young. And if they can keep their offensive coordinator and Kellen Moore, even though I know the Jaguars are talking to him for the head coach.
The Jaguars are talking to me. Like,
yeah, they're out to reach it. Hey, but I will say all the names the Jaguars dropped on who they're trying to talk to, all pretty good names. Like they're all like, oh, we're gonna talk to the OC for Cowboys, the OC for the Bucks, the Doug Peterson. Yeah, so I was like, oh, well, these are at least decent names. Y'all aren't trying to pull a college coach out of your ass again. Y'all ain't calling Chip Kelly back up to the pros or nothing. Then, but the other blowout performance was the Bengals Joe Burrow putting up 500 yards, 525, 4 TDs, dropping 41 to Ravens 21.
Bro, I kept looking at that number and I was like, I just never seen that before. That's like the fourth most in history.
Yeah. And he put up 400 yards on the Ravens the first time they played this year.
John Harbaugh does not have anything for that team. Like, that team was lit. And that was one of those games I was like, hey, yo, let me get some. Like, it was one of them games. Like, T. Higgins. What T. Higgins had? I had to write that shit down.
Oh, he has a monster stat. Let me see. T. Higgins
had, 12 for 194 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jamar Chase went 7 for 125, and Todd's Boyd had a 68-yard touchdown. Like, this team just had a fucking field down. Joe Mixon had 65 and 1 on the ground, and he said, fuck it. Let me get 76, 6 receptions, 7 yards and a touchdown through the air too. Let me get some. It was one of those games. Like, shit's insane. Joe Burrow's passing him like a 143.
Yeah, and not Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, both over their 1,000 yards. First team with 2 receivers over 1,000 yards this year.
Nice.
And Tyler Boyd only needs 200 yards to get 1,000 yards. So it's like they
could
have 3,000-yard receiver.
I've never seen that before. That's fine.
And this is Joe Burrow's first full year because last year he kind of got hurt like a couple games into the season. So this is crazy. And Cincinnati, 4-1 in division now. The only team that has been they beat the Steelers twice and they beat the Ravens twice, which I don't think they've ever done in the same season before.
Them boys is balling right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. They're gonna be a threat in the playoffs. They got a good 1-2 games in them. They can come out like that. They can really fuck some boys up because there's some defenses that kind of that can get slided out there in the playoffs.
Yeah. Let's see. We still got a couple more of the blowouts. We had the Eagles putting up 34 to the Giants 10. I know me and you both are on this one. If the Eagles are just easily going to dominate. I believe didn't Slay get an interception?
Nope, it was the linebacker. He got a pick 6, but the Eagles got a defense on the low. Like, one of the linebackers, T. Edwards, got 16 tackles, and Bretta got a pick 6, got 11 tackles. So, like, the Lions low-key got a defense. That's what I learned from this game. It was a regular day at the office with Jalen Hurts and the boys, and this is their 10th game in a row where they've had over 100 rushing yards. But, like, the Eagles low-key got a defense, kid. That's what I seen. Like, they could sneak in. They could. But, like,
they have the highest odds right now in the NFC after the Saints lost. I know they're sitting at that like 7th spot right now, but I think like with the odds of who's gonna win out potentially and stuff like that based on schedules, they're sitting pretty good right now.
Interesting.
Then let's see, Jalen Hurts, he had a pretty decent day, but the run game, 130 yards on the ground, and like you said, that defense, and some teams that make good playoff pushes, they usually rely on a good defense and a solid run game to complement one another. And like that's how they're winning games right now. Let's see, another blowout, another one that we kind of knew was going to happen. The Buccaneers blowing out the Panthers. You said don't talk to me unless the Bucs did it. 32-6. I think that's a pretty safe margin of victory.
Hey, AB torched them boys. This is the first game since week 6. Got 101 101 yards, and like it really should have been 130, 140 because there are a couple plays that like he got underthrown, but like that's what you call comeback game, like especially against Stephon Gilmore. Like that boy went crazy.
My big thing is this, like, bro, the Cardinals. I think I was kind of pro Matt Rule before the season started, but like as the season's unfolding, why like this is 3 weeks in a row that you've changed quarterbacks like halfway through a game. Like you threw PJ Walker in there with Cam the first 2 weeks, and now Sam Darnold's getting some like getting 30 throws. Cam Newton's got 14 throws. It like, what are y'all doing? Like I know no one's doing well for you, but you just kind of gotta pick somebody and just let him play, even though you're gonna lose probably by 30 points. Like this is as good. I don't know. This is three. I've never seen 3 games in a row where quarterbacks are getting switched out like this.
Hey, you want to know what they said? What he said when they asked him about it?
Well,
It's 1,000% working.
That's, oh my God. No, now that's when you deserve to get fired. When you start saying stupid shit like that.
Hey man, I don't pay nobody's salary, kid, but I just know who I wouldn't pay.
Another blowout was the Chiefs beating the Steelers 36-10, putting the fork in the Steelers.
Hey, all I know is they're mad in Pittsburgh right now. I don't know nobody from Pittsburgh, but they're mad in Pittsburgh right now.
Oh, I would.
And you know what's funny? That there's a Steelers sports bar in like every city in the town, every city in the country, and like over here at Gainesville. Remember we used to go to Ale House and there'd be just nothing with Steelers fans on the patio. And I was just saying like, that's crazy. There is like the Steelers fans. They're gonna find each other and they're gonna get those towels together. So like, them boys is upset right now. Big Ben, they've been screaming you cooked for a minute now. He has some good games. But now they're throwing the blame on Mike Tomlin too. I'm like, damn.
Everyone's getting a little bit of blame.
Big Ben is the quarterback and Rudolph as a backup. Like, they're not paying nobody to come over to Pittsburgh. What's he supposed to do about that?
Yeah, and they're talking about like, bro, they might be forced. Like everyone's saying, this quarterback class coming out of the draft class, there ain't really that many guys, maybe one, but
spend some money.
Yeah, it's like this is a. I know Tomlin doesn't want a rookie quarterback. He doesn't want to rebuild, but like they might have to go in the first round and overreach on a quarterback because of like, hey, Big Ben is done, and we don't have Rudolph. Yeah, and then Rudolph sucked too. So it's just like they got to figure something out for this next season.
Spend some money. That's all. Spend some money. Hey, they say money can't fix anything, but everything. But hey, spend some money and see what happens.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to, especially with these vet quarterbacks that want to go places. Pittsburgh has a shitty O-line also, so it's kind of hard to like sell these people. And if you're spending all your money on a quarterback, they're like, but you have no money left over to save that offensive line. I ain't playing for that. So this is gonna be like they might have to figure something out. Let's see, but that wraps us up with the blowouts this week. Let's see. Let's open with the Falcons beating the Lions. I know you've been wanting to talk this one.
Bro, that shit was crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you because we definitely only won. With them individuals was definitely driving down with a minute left with Tim Boyle and Foye Luakon had to get a game-saving interception. But like, woo! Thank God for Foye Luakon.
Didn't he get an interception like a week or two ago too? That was like a clinching interception or like a.
Hey man, I take it week by week. I'm already on to the next game, but motherfucking maybe. But he definitely saved the day with that one because that was scary. You should have seen. I threw my hat so hard because Arthur Smith called a timeout, and I was just like, "Why the fuck did this bitch ass nigga call a fucking timeout? What the fuck do we need a timeout for? Let them run out the fucking clock. We can't get the ball back." And I threw my hat so hard, I would have swore it was gonna go through this glass window, like, because that shit was just. The way it sliced through the air, it looked like it was not gonna stop. But yeah, this was our first win at home in like 392 days. I think I seen. So like, shout out us for winning at home finally. Like, but damn, that was like shitty. That was a close game. Like, phew, that was whoa. I did not want to deal with the Bucs fans after that one. The Bucs fans, I had to pull up at Kobe Kyle's house, and they was already talking shit. I was like, hey man. All that matters is that it was a win, but boy, that was a tough one right there. The only person on offense that really ate was Kyle Pitts. That boy was beasting and feasting, but that was pretty slow. And they had a trick play with us with a punter. He threw a first down. I was like, I'm about to break. Yeah, I'm about to break some shit. Like I was disrespected, but like we pulled it off and got the W. But boy,
Yeah,
that would be bad if we had lost.
one bright spot for the Lions, I think, all season long, outside of like some stud running backs and shit like that, and a pretty good defense that hasn't quit at all this year, is Amon St. Brown, the wide receiver. This is his like the fourth week in a row of doing like it. He's been consistent with, even though Tim Boyle's being his quarterback and a run heavy offense that doesn't really throw the ball down the field like that. He's still been consistent. Nine catches, 91 yards, and a touchdown. So
That ass.
at least there's a few. If they keep MBDC and they keep some of these defensive players, there are some bright spots, and they're young also. Who knows? Maybe they can build a culture. I'd much rather be playing in the Lions locker room than the Jaguars locker room right now. Stuff like that.
I don't know about that because like Florida versus Detroit, I'm finna go play in Florida too.
That's true, and there's no income taxes here in Florida. But pure locker room, I'd much rather have MBDC's locker room than Urban Meyer's.
I would take that locker room than that locker room. That's a fact.
Next on the list, this game, I mean, the Rams did all they could do to not win this game with 3 interceptions. But the Vikings just couldn't pull it out. They lose 30-23. Vikings start really slow, putting up 3 points in the whole first half, but they came out pretty solid, put up 20 in the second half. Kirk Cousins, I know his stats look good, but he put up 315 yards with a touchdown and interception, but he didn't look all that well in the game. Like, it took a long time for this offense to start clicking. And when it finally did click, I mean, like Justin Jefferson had a big play. KJ Osborne had a pretty big play.
He got a touchdown in the fourth quarter.
But, like, I don't know. It just didn't look like on the paper, it might look like they did pretty well, but I'm telling you, it wasn't like that in the game. The Rams throwing interception after interception, kind of similar to the Baker situation, and the Vikings just couldn't capitalize.
Yeah, all I could say about this game is just like Matthew Stafford 3 picks. I guess that's a lot. Like that defense was there though. Jalen Ramsey didn't give up. Well, Justin Jefferson had like 116 yards. But he didn't have a touchdown. And Madison had some big runs for him, but like, yeah, this offense was pretty stagnant. I felt like he didn't really get nothing shaking. It was like 27-13 to begin the fourth. So like, I don't know. I think they could have put his dub out if they got something. If they got clicking. The Vikings started clicking more earlier. But yeah, the Rams are not looking at the best right now on offense wise. The defense is still there making stops and just doing what they got to do. Shout out Anthony Barr. That boy got 2 picks as a linebacker. That's always interesting to me.
No, and I always liked Anthony Barr because he has some speed on him coming out of college. But one thing that I didn't know about the Rams was that, like, apparently they weren't practicing because of the LA COVID restrictions and stuff. That was one thing someone was saying online about, like, that's why they didn't. Like, Matthew Stafford in the post comment also said something about, like, we haven't practiced in like almost 14 days together. It's kind of different, but I mean, I'll give you 1 game pass. Come back next game if I see fucking 3 interceptions again or something, or y'all aren't looking like a good NFC top 5 team. There ain't many passes to be given out.
I don't know. I was in LA, man. I think I seen Kobe walking around. It was just cool, and I have my mask on though. So he didn't say what's up to me, but hey, it's real out there. But they gotta figure some shit out because that Super Bowl is gonna be in LA. So like, the Super Bowl team's gonna practice. So like, y'all boys, y'all want to be that team? Y'all gotta get that shit. Y'all gotta get that shit clicking.
Yeah.
And Odell did his thing though. Odell scored. He hit a mean ass little gritty. He got some air on that bitch.
No, and I was also gonna say Adam Thielen's out for the rest of the season. They put his ass on IR for an ankle injury.
That shit is hurtful. That's my dog.
Yeah, so like now the Vikings, I don't know what the playoff chances are with them. I know they're 7-8 and stuff like that, but that doesn't really help with. You already was having a stagnant offense. Now you're gonna have to, like, Justin Jefferson and Osborne are gonna have to be the primary 2.
I'm not gonna lie, that's not bad though. They can figure something out. Especially if Dalvin Cooks comes back.
Yeah, that was also a big blow. Madison, I mean, he is decent, but he is no Cook.
Yeah, he had some big runs, and I thought he had some good yardage. They only had like 41 yards at the end of the day, so I was like, damn. But like, he still did his thing a little piece.
Next one on the list, we had the Bills getting their revenge on the Patriots in Foxborough.
I took the damn Patty Melts thinking they was going to sweep them boys, keep the AFC East. You know what I'm saying? Nope. People are saying that the Bills this is showing the Bills should have won against, maybe it was the snow against the Patriots in that one game. And I'm looking at it because like their offense had no punch, which is something that people don't do against the Patriots. I think this is like, they said some crazy stuff like a 400 game streak, 400 plus games. That there's no team that just didn't punt against the Patriots. That's insane. But Josh Allen did his thing in the air throwing for 310 yards, but it was what he did on the ground. I feel like because he was getting third downs and he was just being a nuisance to the defense. Like he was just really fucking them boys up. And it's crazy that he can take the hits that he can take a quarterback because he just be doing his thing. And now you have to really respect it because like he hit one last play. It looked like he was going to run it, and then he just hit a quick little flick to Dawson Cox in the end zone. And I was just looking like, wow, like you really ran that like a true, like genuine, like RPO college quarterback. I was just like, wow, there's not much you can do about that.
Like he's like a tight end playing quarterback. Like he isn't some like he's not just 6'5" and like small framed. He's probably bigger than Dawson Knox if they were to stand side by side.
No cap. And then McKenzie, and then the receivers were doing their thing. McKenzie. Great game, great catches. What he had? He had fucking 11 receptions for 125 yards and a touchdown. He did his thing. And then Stephon Diggs, 7 receptions, 85 yards, touchdown. Receivers came through and they made the game easy for him. But on the Patriots side, I felt like this was a good game for them. I feel like Mac Jones just got outplayed by Josh Allen. But Damian Harris, grown man, like that's a beast right there. Like grown man. What do you have? 3 touchdowns?
3 touchdowns.
Hey, I only seen 2. That's how you know that boy is a beast.
On 18 carries, 103 yards and 3 touchdowns.
That is a beast. I mean, that individual is a beast. Like grown man. That's what he showed us this week. Oh, and shout out Sony Michel for the Rams. That boy had like second. Yeah, that boy had his second highest game ever with 131 yards and a touchdown. So like 27 rushes. So hey, somebody had to pick up the slack because boy, 3 picks.
Yeah, and Sony Michel came from the Patriots. We're talking about like the Patriots are just a running back factory. Okay, they have Damian Harris, Ramon Stevenson, Bolden, who's not a slouch. He's more like a receiving back. And then the start off,
they got LeGarrette right back in the day.
Yeah, so like they know how to run a good off. Hey, Bill Belichick, if it was up to him, he would run triple option wishbone back in the like Navy days. But hey, Mac Jones. Yeah, but Mac Jones, I mean, 2 interceptions, 14 of 32, less than 50% completion percentage. The Bills, I mean, they just got up for this game. They knew all the noise that everyone was talking about the last time they lost, and then they lost a few other games, and then they kind of moved to the wild card spot when they started off as like the powerhouse. So I think this was kind of a statement game. Me being a Dolphins fan, this is a must. We needed the Bills to win this game because then now we can play the Patriots if we win out, and if we beat the Patriots, we kind of like we're good. But the Bills just did their thing. Josh Allen, 3 touchdowns, 64 yards on the ground. I saw some crazy stack. I don't think he made the Pro Bowl either. And
wow, really? Well, yeah, he did have a slow beginning of the season.
And but it was just like people. I know Lamar's your boy, but people were showing like Lamar's stats this year isn't really all that great right now.
Joey B is supposed to go over Lamar. Lamar's my dog.
Yeah, but that's why it's always a popularity contest kind of thing. It's kind of like the All-Star game in NBA. It's like D Wade made it his last year, and I love D Wade, but that boy was only putting on like 15 points per game.
D Wade and Dirk.
Yeah, so it's just like, hey, if you have that fans behind you, you're probably gonna make it, no matter if it's a down year when someone else deserves it. But yeah, good win for the Bills. If they're still the AFC team that is to beat, just like the Chiefs. Next team, this game you've been talking about for a little while. We had the Jets and the Jaguars, the battle of the first and second overall picks.
Bro, at this point, I don't think anybody gives a fuck about draft picks right now. Like, they don't see nobody that's gonna change the trajectory of their team, like an Andrew Luck type player. Like, they don't really give a fuck right now. I feel like because them boys are trying to get dubs because the Jets came to. I chose the Jaguars, but the Jets came to play this week. Like Zach Wilson had some wheels. That boy broke for 52 yards. Like that's the only thing I've written down in my notes because I was shocked. This game was close. They got a kick return. Like it was really a good game, and the boys just played hard, and they just both wanted to win. They said, "Fuck that draft pick."
And Zach Wilson, I mean, he made up for it with his big run, but he did only have like 100 yards. It was like 102. But Michael Carter, who's another rookie running back who no one ever really talked about, he's put a 118 on 16 carries, and he was kind of been like their life workhorse. But then he kind of got hurt. He was on IR his last 3 games. But when he was in, he was putting up a consistent 80 to 100 yards, like silently being the workhorse, which I think is crazy because PFF posted their highest block shed rates, or not block shed. They put up their highest broken tackle percentage. And number 1, I think, was Javonte Williams from the Broncos. Number 2 was Nick Chubb. And then number 3 was Michael Carter, who no one's really talking about. But Michael Carter is right up there. And the craziest thing is Javonte Williams and Michael Carter both were rookies out of University of North Carolina who split touches last year. So, like, they both could be bangers because no one really got to see much out of them in college because they split touches. But coming into NFL, being the primary workhorse, they both been pretty well.
I respect it.
Barrios. I think the Jets have a couple good bright spots. Their defense isn't like as bad as people want to make them seem. It's just their offense has been so bad that their defense plays a lot of snaps. But Barrios, great special teams player. He has speed for days. Even a pretty good wide receiver, slot receiver. So like, if they can get Zach Wilson comfortable, and if he is who he was supposed to be coming in, if he puts up these 250, 300-yard games in the future, maybe the Jets are something. I see the Jets probably being better than the Jaguars for the next 5 years if they keep this similar rosters.
Shit's real.
See, and then this was the biggest shocker of the week. We had the Texans beating the Chargers.
Oh my gosh, this is another pick this is another game that shows nobody care about these draft picks. How do you feel about this game? Because gosh, damn, like that was not a T game that you were trying to lose right now in this playoff, with this wild ass AFC playoff.
Fuck, my thing was the Houston doesn't have a run game, and then what did they prove wrong? It doesn't matter if you have a run game if you're playing the Chargers. They let Rex Burkhead put up 149 yards and 2 touchdowns.
God damn. I feel like I heard they got 31st in like points per game or some shit like that right now. Shit's crazy.
No, I believe the way their defense is there, like they have this explosive offense, but this defense can't stop anybody. And I think Davis Mills low keys is being overlooked. I know he was like a 5th-round pick, 4th-round pick, and I know he's had his up and downs, but like he's the only quarterback out of this draft class. I mean, Justin Fields has I think Justin Fields might be the best. Mac Jones, stuff like that. But like Davis Mills, when it comes to Trevor Lawrence, who I don't think has shown me anything all year. Zach Wilson definitely hasn't shown really much anything all year. Davis Mills might be like a guy in the next 5 years. Like there's always a 5th-round guy who somehow slips through the cracks and takes advantage of his situation. And someone was pointing out, like, Houston's won the same games with Deshaun Watson with Davis Mills. Like last year they only won 4 games. This year they won 4 games, and it's like, you can save a lot of money if you stick with Davis Mills, and he's put up 300-yard games. He hasn't really, like, he's had a few 180-yard games, but like he's not. I just don't think he's looked as bad as some of the other quarterbacks, especially some of these other quarterbacks are 1st-round getting so much more money than him.
Hey man, Davis Mills did his thing this week. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like he had 254 yards, 2 touchdowns. But what got me was the receivers. All the receivers were jumping out the gym. Like, they was getting up there to go get those passes. Like, and he did all this without his best receiver, who's out for COVID. So, like, they definitely did their thing. Shout out them boys. But they just took advantage. I think they won because they took advantage of a lot of defense that was just lit. They took advantage of a lot of turnovers, interception in the second half that they turned into points before halftime. And not the pick 6, just the second half interception. Then the Jackson fumble out of fucking nowhere till they turn that into points. and then the pick six late in the fourth when you still couldn't made a push. They turned that shit into points. So like they took the Chargers beat themselves on top of their defense being the defense that allows you to do whatever they want. But it's like, shout out the Jets, shout out the Texans offense because they really came to play. Like Rex said, Rex Burke had 2 touchdowns. I was talking shit. I was like, bro, I remember watching him in football, watching him in college, saying, I don't even see Burke going to the league. He proved me wrong about going to the league, and then he proved us wrong about playing this league. Like, that man was phenomenal. That shit was crazy. He was doing the same thing he was doing back there, lowering that fucking helmet and keeping it moving. So shout out them boys. That was a good win for them. And like, what's that, like 2 in a row?
Low key. Don't look now. No, but yeah, they got. I think you might be right, 2 in a row. But it was one of those wins that is like, it hurt the Chargers a lot more to lose that game than I love wins like that when there's a team that really shouldn't have much to play for other than their pride, but they take out the team that was like they had a lot more to lose.
Facts.
Next one on the list. This one, like I said, I thought Magic Nick Foles had a little bit left in the gas tank. Bears pull it out in the snowy tundra of Seattle.
Bro, have you ever seen it snow in Seattle before?
Personally, I have. I know it snows in Seattle. I know that. But I just personally have never seen a snow game ever.
That shit was wild. I've never seen, like, not even on Madden have I seen the snow in Seattle before, but like, I was just looking like, that's a lot of fucking snow. I don't think them boys played in like no games like that recently in Seattle. But like the Bears, that's home for them. Like, oh yeah, I love me some snow. So like, I think that low key made a difference. I don't know. I feel like I'm just gonna throw that out there. I feel like the Bears are a little snowier team. Nick Foles played good, but I don't think anybody on the Bears had great statistics. I think they just played their positions well and they just kept going. Rashard Penny for the fucking Seahawks went crazy. 135 yards off of 17 rushes and a touchdown. He really was like a big bag for them. He's the one that kept the offense moving. But you couldn't do shit to them late game heroic. You got Jimmy Graham with his touchdown. Nick Foles throwing that bitch up to him. And then that 2-point conversion at the end. Come on, man.
We're not going for a tie.
That shit was nice. Like, that shit was nice. And, like, that was a throw in a double coverage. They literally were trying to lift him up and just throw him out. I wonder what the call would have been if they just didn't let his feet touch the ground.
Yeah, they would have just picked him up and walked with him.
Yeah, just threw him out of there. Like, he has possession of the ball, and it broke the plan. But, like, that would have been a nice to see how that shit would have played out. But shout out them boys. They got that shit crazy.
No, that was like an action figure catch to me because he caught it up like this and then they hit him. So like an action figure, he bent. And then all of a sudden, somehow he's moving this way, but then all of a sudden he gets back up and puts the feet down. That was something you do with your action figures as a kid. And I was like, bro, that was a hell of a catch, hell of a play. The little bit of magic of Nick Foles sprinkled in on there. I know no one really had a great day, but David Montgomery, similar to Joe Mixon, he had like 45 yards on the ground, touchdown, and then 7 catches, 61 yards. So, like, it was a lot of, like, short passes with the running back, but that did set up for, like, Darnell Mooney's 30-yard catch, who also has been another bright spot. Like, I know everyone's talking about Allen Robinson, absolute nothing this year. Like, he was a top 10 wide receiver going into the, like, fantasy football and stuff like that just because he got so many catches, so you get points for every catch. And but this year, just completely absent. But Darnell Mooney's been a freaking bright spot. And if they can find a quarterback who can utilize both of them guys at the same time with Jimmy Graham and David Montgomery running the rock, they have some pieces too. And my biggest thing is, like, Russell Wilson still has yet to show me since coming back from injury that he's Russell Unlimited Wilson.
Unlimited. Hey, man, I give it to the defense. The defense brought pressure, and they got some early goal line stop. But, like, their defense is what kept them in this game. And, like, eventually that defense just slowly got done on. But, like, you can blame it on the snow. I think Russell Wilson looked good early, especially with that touchdown throw to DK and on the opening drive. But, like, you can blame it on the snow if you want. I'm gonna blame it on the snow, but, like, you're not lying.
Yeah, we'll see. And this is weird to think of because Russell was maybe when it was all, if he was continuing on the track, he was top 10 quarterback all time. depending on if you're a Seattle fan, you might move him up higher. Maybe a little bit lower if you don't like him as much. Stuff like that. But he was a Hall of Famer for sure. My big thing is like if him and Pete Carroll do part ways, let's say Pete Carroll retires because Pete Carroll doesn't want to do no rebuild and stuff like that, and he goes somewhere. What if he stinks it up wherever he goes? Does that hurt his like Hall of Fame like resume, stuff like that? Like what like that's just I'm not saying it's gonna happen. It's just like the what if of like he leaves the Seattle situation and he doesn't look the same ever again.
I don't know. That's a lot of what ifs because that's a lot of what ifs I have to go through. So like, I can't speak on that one too much. That's a lot of what ifs. But I would say this like, it's one season. It's the first time we've ever had this many doubts about him at the same time. So like, let's see what the future has at stake for that boy.
No, we'll see because they're definitely not getting it. I think this for sure. Now they are 10 losses, so the chances of winning out or having winning records is dead.
Yeah, I been guessing like last week, but like it's up to them boys to make the most out of this season, and then figure out like what's the best, what moves you got to make to continue eating in the future. Because like Pete Carroll says they got all the pieces. We just probably need a new mentality, and just like, and so like we'll see what that means, because they do have a lot of the same pieces, but it's just like we'll see what that means.
Yeah. Next game, this was Sunday Night Football. We had the Raiders pulling out a W against Denver. Raiders came back from what? It was like 13-7 at halftime. And
I was about to say, tell me about this game. I was upset. I did not see this coming even slightly.
I don't know. Like, first off, Raiders rush defense. I got to give it to them. They only allowed 18 yards all game. This was Melvin. Yeah, Melvin Gordon's first career ever negative yard game. He had -4 yards to end the game.
Damn. Max Crosby and the boys came through like that.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs on the other side, 129 yards. They never stopped running the ball. But yeah, no, Drew Lock, I mean, he came in, everyone didn't expect much out of him, 150 yards. It was 13-7 at halftime. Broncos were winning, and then coming out of the halftime, Derek Carr makes a 75-yard drive, scores a touchdown. A couple missed field goals, and I know the one missed field goal for sure. Brandon McManus and Vic Fangio had some words with each other, which is never a good sign. I've never seen the McManus missed the field goal, took his helmet off on the field, and you could see him like scream something over at Vic. Apparently, it was something about them not having enough. Like the special teams didn't have enough time. Like Vic Fangio didn't give them time, knowing that you're gonna kick this ball. But in his defense, it was like a 4th and 1. But he was waiting to see where the ball was spotted if they're gonna go for it. It turned out to be like a 4th and 3. There was only like 20 seconds left. He sends out the special teams. They missed the field goal. Now he has some choice words because it was a rushed kick. But, I mean, first half, I thought Denver was going to win because I don't know why Denver stopped running the ball. I know it wasn't working, but that's no reason to get away from what is literally your best. Like, what is your bread and butter is running the ball. Drew Lock's not going to win this game for you, especially not with the way this Raiders secondary has been playing this year. And they just gave up. I think they gave up running the ball too early because they only had like 8 carries each.
Hey, that's interesting. That's really interesting. I would not expect that even slightly.
But shout out to the Raiders. They still have playoff chances. Their playoff is not dead yet with this win. Broncos, on the other hand, losing this game is kind of now they're 7-8. Playoffs are out of the picture, especially because the AFC is so deep. Raiders sitting at 8-7. They're right there. They're tied with us, the Dolphins, who are sitting in the playoff spot, but we have the better divisional record or something. So we win by tiebreaker.
Nice.
And then the last game on our list was the Monday Night Football. This is why I brought the Saint Pack out. This is what we've been smoking on since Monday. we beat the dog shit out of New Orleans Saints.
That shit was bad.
We had Ian Book looking confused, getting sacked. Not one time, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, not seven, but 8 sacks. I think that's I don't know. I don't think I've seen the Dolphins ever get 8 sacks personally in a game. And secondly, I don't know if any team has gotten like 8 sacks this year in a game.
Nah, that's a lot of fucking sacks. Like, that's a lot of fucking sacks. And don't forget the pick 6.
Second career pass from Ian Book. Nick Needham, easy pick 6.
It's the second career pass was a touchdown. I'm hearing legend. I'm hearing a legendary story beginning.
Shit. Hey, bro, his QBR was 2.1 to end the game. Dolphins, we're buzzing. I mean, my biggest Tua had that one bonehead interception, but I did Dolphins Twitter did have like broke down that play like 100 times on Twitter. And Mac Hollins did kind of stop on the route, but still Jalen Waddle was wide open. It was just a bad read altogether. But Tua, every time he's thrown an interception or big mistake, he's always came right back. Like when the Jets pick 6, we came out, we scored like a 75-yard drive, no mistakes the whole time. This one, we throw that one, he comes out and he leads us on a touchdown drive right after that. So then it's just like, I like Tua because not only is he my quarterback, but he makes mistakes. Every quarterback makes mistakes, but he doesn't just curl up into a ball and kind of blame himself or try to force anything crazy afterwards. He comes right back. He wipes it off his shoulder. He says, "Oh fuck, I threw a pick." Next,
I give it. And I say he has 1 or 2 deep throws in him a game. He has 1 or 2, maybe 3 on a good day. But he's gonna let it fly just to test.
I think that's also due to the RPO style we have to play with his O-line. Because they're also everyone talking about all the vet quarterbacks going into the market this year, but there's a lot of really good offensive linemen going into the market this year. And I wouldn't be shocked because Miami has the most cap space at $90 million coming into this year. We might put a lot of money into that O-line, and you might start seeing some deep passes from Waddle to Hollins to Gesicki. You might start seeing the offense open up a little bit more. That's all. What if though? What if? But my biggest thing I really enjoyed, Duke Johnson. I loved him as a Hurricane. I love him more as a Dolphin. That man ran the I don't know who he ran over, but so he ran the fuck over somebody on the Saints, and he plays a style of running that none of our other running backs, like Myles Gaskin, isn't running through people. Like we need that tough in the middle, hard nosed running to at least make defenses like kind of come up more and play like in the trenches a little bit more, which opens up other things of our offense.
I respect it, man. I was watching this game with Jerry. It was bad. I had to pay. It was so bad. I said, "All right, I'll pay for his food." You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not like I paid for it because he didn't have it, and I didn't pay for it because I wanted to. It was more like it was the right thing to do because that shit was not cool. Like,
I wouldn't have been shocked if y'all left like third quarter.
We definitely left the third quarter.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't want to stay. I couldn't enjoy my meal. I wouldn't be able to enjoy myself.
Great. I had that shit was Mountain Milk. That shit was beautiful. But motherfucker, we gotta get sponsored by Air House. I need some free zingers, Mountain Milks. But yeah, that shit was lit. That shit was a good game for y'all boys. Good win. And I was just watching that bitch like, oh, time for it looks like we're back to second in the division, yeah, bitch.
Yeah, and Dolphins are sitting. I didn't even realize that y'all move up the second division. Dolphins sitting in the playoffs, all is right in the world.
That's lit.
But that closes us out for the Monday Night Football. There is no Thursday Night Football this week, because this happens every year as we get closer to the playoffs. But we do have to take a quick moment. We haven't talked about it yet, but rest in peace to the great John Madden.
I'm not gonna lie. We gotta put one in the air for that boy. Gotta get that shit right. But nah, what do you know about John Madden, man? I thought I knew about John Madden because I was bred from the video game. Like that was the truth. He was probably a broadcaster, and they used to show. And I used to see the the pictures, the loading screens when they would talk about him, I'd be like, oh, he won the championship. Yay, that's dude. But nah, bro, the truth. Tell me what you know about John Madden. I get my
Being a young little kid who used to get Madden every Christmas, or at least not my whole life, but there was a time in my at least a good 5-year span, 4-year span. Every Christmas I got the Madden and 2K. And I knew John Madden story kind of because I did kind of know that he played and then he got hurt. He didn't play much. I had to double check. He played in the very first training camp. He messed up his knee, retired, and then went to coaching. A lot of people give it up right then and there, but not him. But Madden itself, the video game, I remember I used to always go to in your My Career, you would be able to go to the stats and who leads the legacy leaderboard of all time. And when it came to coaches, when it comes to win percentage, he always was number one. And that's when I started putting a lot of respect on that man, because he went 103 and 32 with 7 ties. So you said earlier, he won 3 out of 4 games. That's no other coach has a win for 0.759. No other coach. I think the next closest is 0.700. So he was, and I remember him. I'm not that old, so I don't remember much as the coach, but I just remember him being the voice of my childhood and almost all those video games. Hearing him start up, right after you hear that EA Sports, it's in the game. And then all of a sudden it jumps into that John Madden talking football.
Yeah, he talked that shit. But I got nothing but respect from Big Bro because, I got 2 things I learned about him. I was watching the Pat McAfee show today, and Al Michaels was on that guy. Al Michaels fucks with the Pat McAfee show. He said he's trying to be a regular like Aaron Rodgers and shit. But he dropped some real knowledge about John Madden, the fact that them boys used to really get around on a bus, and I don't blame them. I'm not a big flyer. I'm not a big plane fan. I'm gonna get used to it because so much faster. But them boys used to get around on the bus. They said he was coming from Tampa. Shout out to 813. Tampa to somewhere West Coast, and they had to stop in Houston. They stopped in Houston. He got off the plane. He got a train ticket to maybe San Francisco. He got a train ticket, and ever since then, he never got on a plane again. And what was funny, his wife had a pilot's license, but this man never got on a plane again, never. So yeah, that boy didn't play that shit. So he was a legend for real. He did crazy. They said that he was crazy amazing for the broadcast booth. They said Al Michaels said he worked with 2 legendary people, Howard Cosell. If you know anything about Muhammad Ali, boxing, just Howard Cosell is the truth. And John Madden. He said Howard Cosell was towards the end of his career, and Howard Cosell had to follow the system so much that he hated his job at the end of the career. And they said for the last 2-3 years, it just was terrible. It just made everything terrible. John Madden was the complete opposite. Everything was lit, fun all the time. And they said that John Madden changed the way broadcasting was. They said before John Madden, it was, if you go listen to the old highlights and stuff like that, you'll hear the commentator, Bart Starr, touchdown. That was commentating back then. They said John Madden not only brought in the personality, he brought in the energy, but he also used to break it down. He used to break it down for the fans so that way they could understand everything, because you've seen how high his football knowledge was. They used to break it down for the fans so the fans could understand what they were seeing, because there's just a lot of things that even to this day, even the newer guys, they just use terminology that only a football player would know. And that's not for what you're doing. You want the fans to really sit down and be able to break it down and go through and enjoy the game too. So shout out John Madden. And the biggest thing was, they said when he got his Hall of Fame in 2006, his bro was on the ballot for 28 years or some crazy shit like that. But he said he took the most pride in that just because he got in there as a coach. Because he did everything for football, but he wanted to be known that I was that dude. I was deserve it because I led a team to a championship.
I got his numbers up here. His very first year as a coach, he went 12-1.
Nice.
Yeah, they lost in the AFL championship to the Kansas City Chiefs. The next
they said they went to that 5 times.
Yeah, and this quick, one, he's never had a losing season. Just like we always gonna give credit to Tomlin and stuff like that. Like he never had one. His overall winning percentage ranked second in the league history. And this is Madden achieved all his records in the period that included head coaches Tom Landry, Don Shula, Chuck Noll, Bud Grant, who are considered top coaches of all time. And
I consider all the top coaches of all time.
Yeah, and like where he AFC Championship 5 years in a row. One of them they won the Super Bowl, like 13-1, 12-2. 11-3, 11-3, 12-1-1, 10-3-1. Like these are like he's never had a bad season. That's just crazy. Like since the jump, that man knows football. He's forgotten more about football than what a lot of people ever know about football.
Well, knows way more than me. But hey, man, shout out that man. Prayers to his family, and just thank you for everything you've done. Like you was really a voice for a lot of people. Like. Your reach put a lot of people in there. Like there's no John Madden. You can't promise that we're doing this podcast right now. Because I know I fell in love with Madden way before I fell in love with watching football.
Yeah, and hey, shout out Freddie Gibbs even said my first love was playing that Madden shit. So like I know
what was his second love though?
Trevor Hall. But yeah, no, even him, like these, like he's not like someone once pointed out, like, okay, yeah, there's great commentators of sports, as people who know the sport in and out, but he was someone on Thanksgiving Day that could make your wife laugh at a joke watching the football game. We had like he would do X's and O's of the turkeys, like stuff like that, like little things that made everyone enjoy the sport, that broadened it, that made it into this multi-billion-dollar operation that it is today, maybe even trillion-dollar operation it is today.
7 billion sold.
And I think as a EA Madden, I know you're not hearing us, but I know there's been plenty of people on social media, so I just want to throw our hat in there as well. But like, I'm pretty sure you're not gonna say no to this, but he deserves, and he better be on the Madden cover this year for the next Madden, or it maybe not the cover, maybe the Legend Edition, because they always drop the Legend Edition and a normal cover, and the Legend Edition usually gets a little bit more respect. So like, there's not any better legend than John Madden when it comes to Madden.
See, I was screaming for I was going to scream Kyle Pitts, but hey, John Madden can get it this year. No funny shit. He deserves it.
Hey, put Demetrius Thomas on the normal cover and put John Madden on the legend cover.
Demarius Thomas?
I thought it was Demetrius. There's not a T in there?
Hey, just know I'm going to just have a clip at the end of the season of all the names.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, Demarius. I could have put a T in there my whole life.
Hey, man. Hey, that's lit. But, hey, man, that's everything, dog.
Yeah, no, that closes us out. That brings us in. One last thing. We are smoking on the Saint Pack.
Hey, man. Usually I break that bitch down all the way for y'all boys. You know how we coming, man. But hey, I gotta put it on. Hey, this has been the Totally Blitzed podcast, man. And rest in peace, John Madden. That's a go for real, man. I promise, if you don't know nothing about John Madden, but go do some research. The documentary just came out, which is like perfect timing. The documentary just came out, Christmas Eve. It came out, so like, go watch that and go peep. Go learn some things about John Madden. He was the truth before the truth was the truth. So like, rest in peace, that boy, man. This been Totally Blitzed, you bitch.
Got a problem with being problematic. Get the light beam on me, ready for electrostatic. Don't you step into this box if you're not batting. Then my gang got tools, you can call them boy crap, man. This gang got rules, man. You better watch your passes. This ain't not.